students, on completing the first chapter, Fundamental Basis of Life, today we are going to discuss our next chapter, Tissue. Student, the term tissue is derived from the Latin word axis, that means to weave. To weave. It means, as I was tell you that the cells are building blocks of the organism body, eventually multicellular. Likewise, here the term tissue means a group of similar or dissimilar cells that unite to perform an specific function. Thus, students, to view means the group of number of cells which are joined together one after one. That's why here the axis means to view. Now, students, to know more about tissues, first of all, we know about who was the biologist who gave the term tissue. Then, students, first of all, the name of biologist was come in mind is Bichet. Bichet was the biologist who firstly gave the term tissue, and after him, a comparative study was determined by a biologist whose name was Meyer. Meyer not only gave the comparative study of different kinds of tissues, but also he gave the histology. It is a sub-branch of biology under which we study about the different kinds of tissues. And when we are discussing on the topic tissue, then the name of Marcello Malpighi also comes in our mind. He was the first biologist who not only gave the descriptive study of the tissues but also performed a book on the tissues. That's why Marcello Malpighi is regarded as the father of histology. Thus, students, after knowing more about tissue, we are going to discuss on the topic. First of all, we also define the term tissue. Before defining the term tissue, look at here. As you study in chemistry, the atoms unite to form molecules, and molecules, if consist of same types of atoms, then they represent a particular type of elements. If a molecule contains two or more types of atoms, then it represents a compounds. Likewise, the cell unite to form tissues, and tissue unite to form organ unite to form organ system, and organ system unite to form organism. Here we are talking about the multicellular number of organ systems. Thus, students, what we notice here, the cell unite to form tissue, and tissue unite to form organ, and organ unite to form organ system, and when the organ system unite, it forms the organism of 5 categories. Let us come on our topic, tissue. As students, I explained that tissue is a group of similar and dissimilar cells that unite to perform an specific function is known as tissue. Students, if we are talking about the human body, then we find that the human body consists of about 10 to power 14 cells. How many cells are found in human body? What number of cells unite to compose the human body? Then the answer will be 1 into 10 to power 14 cells. Students, we notice that our different organs perform different functions. Yes, this is known as division of labor. This is due to division of labor. When the cells unite to form tissue, then the particular type of tissue have particular type of function. That's why here I determine that they perform a specific function. The function of different kind of tissues, cells are different. This is called division of labor. Now students, in your syllabus, there is comparative study of the plant tissue and animal tissue. You have to study about both. Let's first discuss about plant tissue. The definition will be same. There will be no kind of changes made in definition. Plant tissue. Before describing more about the plant tissue, let's first of all we know about the schematic classification of the plant tissue. Students, primarily the plant tissues are classified into 2 categories according to your syllabus. In higher classes, it is also classified into 3 categories, but here you have to study about the 2-head classification of plant tissue. The first one is meristematic tissue. Meristematic tissue, and the second one is permanent tissue. Permanent tissue. Clear? First of all, here I go to describe meristematic tissue. Students, as the name reveals that meristem, it means it is a Latin word that means that has ability to growth and division. The meristem means that has ability to growth and division. That's why they are equivalent to just like a parent cell, or you can say that they are consist of the kind of cells that has ability of growth and division. Division is the most peculiar characteristics of such type of tissues. On the basis of function and development, the meristematic tissues are further classified into two heads. What are these? Look at here. The first of all, the meristematic tissues are classified on the basis of position. On the basis of position in plants body. And second one is on the basis of origin. On the basis of origin. On the basis of position, the meristematic tissues are classified into following three categories. Let us take these categories on the basis of a simple diagram that represents the classification of the tissues on the basis of position. These are the intercalars, the primarily branches that arises from the node of the plant tissue. Now this is the apices of shoot system, and also regarded as the apical meristematic tissue. And these are the kinds of lateral meristematic tissues which are known for the growth in the thickness of the plant. Now this is the first type of meristematic tissue on the basis of position. Apical meristem. It helps in the growth of length, and you also determine as the height of the plant, length of the plant, and where it is found? It is found on the root and shoot apex, root apex and shoot apex. Apex are the terminal part of the root or shoot of the plant. This represents the apical meristem. Now that is the lateral meristem. This is the second one, lateral meristem. Lateral meristem. Students, the lateral meristems are responsible for the growth in thickness, of plants, and they are helpful in the formation of secondary growth inside the stems and other part of the plants. Here I draw the cambium and core. This is the lateral section of a plant stem. These are the core cambium or cambium rings, and this is the outermost cambium, that is also called bark. Cambium or bark of the plant. Now students, the third type of meristems on the basis of position is intercalary meristems. Intercalary meristems. Students, the intercalary meristems are generally found at the nodes. These are the nodes, and these are the branches, new branches that arises from the root as well as shoot system. Here I demonstrate the branches of the shoot system, and these are the new branches. They are helpful in the development of new branches and leaves in the plants. That's why they are called intercalary meristems, and they are helpful in the growth of new branches. Now students, we are going to discuss about the meristematic tissue on the basis of origin. On this basis, the meristematic tissues are classified into three categories, that are promeristems, primary meristem, and secondary meristems. Promeristem. Students, the promeristems are associated with the embryonic development of the plant tissue. If we are taking the example of such kind of tissue, then we find that when a sprouted seed goes on the germination, the radicum part helps in the development of root system, and the plumule part helps in the development of the shoot system. These are the promeristems. Now, primary meristems are directly associated with the promeristems, and that's why they are called the kind of meristems whose development take place from the promeristems. Hence, they are the direct descendant of the promeristems or embryonic meristems. Now students, we are going to discuss about the secondary meristems. The secondary meristems are just the permanent tissues because they are also developed from the primary meristems, and some kinds of permanent tissues are such a way that they have the ability of growth and division. Such type of permanent tissues are known to be secondary meristems, as taking the example of bark. Different kinds of trees and plants shed their barks in the particular time period or particular season. This is the best example of the secondary meristems. Now students, today we only discuss about the permanent tissue. Students, the permanent tissues are also further classified into two categories: simple permanent tissue, and the second one is complex permanent tissue. If we are discuss about the simple permanent tissue, then we found that there are three types of simple permanent tissue. What are these? Let us take it. The first one is parenchyma. Second one is collenchyma. Collenchyma are also of two types: the arenchyma and chlorenchyma. And the last one is sclerenchyma. Students, sclerenchyma also consist of two types of components, sclerites and fibers. And if we are talking about the complex tissue, then they are also of two types. What are these? The first one is the xylem, the water conducting tissue, and second one is the phloem, the mineral conducting tissue. Students, xylems are also consist of four types of structures: the xylem vessels,